All right, welcome back. A developing story we're keeping an eye on this hour. Coinbase stock sinking on news of an SEC investigation. Tanaya, Macheel is here with more. This company's been in the news a lot this week. What do we know about this?
Yeah, big week for Coinbase, Scott. The company confirming the SEC has been investigating whether it has misstated its user numbers. The inquiry focuses on the number of verified users reported by Coinbase. The New York Times reported this afternoon Coinbase has claimed as more than $100 million, 100 million verified users in various securities and filings and marketing materials. Paul Graywall, their chief legal officer, explained in a statement that was shared with us that includes anyone who has verified their email address or phone number with Coinbase, so the number may overstate the number of unique customers. Now, the investigation began during the Biden administration, which Graywall also points out that administration was famously hostile toward the crypto industry and has continued under the Trump administration's, of course, more crypto-friendly SEC. Graywall also said this is a holdover investigation from the prior administration about a metric we stopped reporting 2.5 years ago, which was fully disclosed to the public. While we strongly believe this investigation should not continue, we remain committed to working with the SEC to bring this matter to a close. Shares taking another leg lower on this story, already under pressure after this morning's reported hack, Scott.
Yeah, so much for riding the high of being added to the S&P 500, which Brian Armstrong just yesterday was talking so highly about, and what it meant for, in some respects, the credibility of not only crypto, but this company. And on that note, I was at the Sohn conference, yesterday, and I spoke to famed short seller Jim Chanos, and he told me he is short coin, and here's one of the reasons why.
All the things that Coinbase did as a leader and as a pioneer in this industry, others are now doing, right? You can now buy Bitcoin ETFs anywhere. You can trade Bitcoin in places like Robinhood and also. So in effect, you basically have a broker-dealer in crypto. And broker-dealers generally trade at relatively low multiples and ultimately have very low margins.
What's your take? I mean, commoditized business in his view. Do you have a view?
It's interesting, and I remember when he first started talking about this a couple years ago, just looking at the difference between then and now, it sounds like he's really talking about Coinbase as sort of a brokerage. And of course, when you talk to investors and analysts on the street, a crypto company, people are so long on this name because of the nature of crypto. There's just so much more toward their business these days, which we're finally getting to see ramp up. They may be businesses that didn't really matter very much 2 years ago, like staking, like stable coins. We have Bitcoin ETFs now, which of course Coinbase does the custody on so many of them. So it is, I think, important to keep in mind that there is so much to this business beyond the trading.
Yeah, and speaking of Bitcoin, let's look at it, because it was back above 100K, like 103. It's been an incredible return.
Yeah.
Right, to these highs.
Yeah, absolutely. I had been talking to so many analysts, investors who said, we think that around now 100K is in sight, but this may not be the breakout to the all-time high that people are expecting. I think also because of how different the market is now with so much institutional demand, we might see this 4-year cycle extended. So if you're going by the 4-year cycle, 2026 would be the bear year, and we might actually not see all-time highs or peaks of this cycle until next year. You might see new highs later in the year. Third quarter, I think, is something that people are eyeing a lot because of the deadline for legislation getting signed and put on Trump's desk. But because we've got so much institutional demand, we just might see the peak not happen for a while now.
All right. Thanks for helping us understand this better. That's Tanaya, Macheel.